Oh, bloody Nagant, man! She got some sad backstory of, yeah, being like the government assassin, man. Man, this is bloody, man. And poor Nagant, she's getting all like PTSD over being like the government hit, you know, government assassin. Oh, she's like, no, the poor children, they can't know the truth. Come on, man! You can't introduce a new, awesome, badass waifu and then kill her off immediately? I'm just like, oh my god, yeah, this anime is awesome, cool backstory, good waifu, no evil waifu, no she's good again, and then they kill her off? Like, what is this, man? Like, they just had her introduced, and she's like the coolest new character, like, I should... What? So let's review it. So, of course, Deku saves Overhaul, right? And then he doesn't save Lady Nagant, which feels like a really weird trade. You could have said the waifu instead, man. But it did feel like a weird episode a little bit in that sense. That, yeah, they introduced this like new cool waifu, cool personality, gave her like a backstory, right? A typical sad backstory. And then he's like, oh, she's dead. Yeah, you're like, well, but you just introduced this to bad. She's dead. You're like, okay. Yeah, a little salt they were losing in the hottest character this season. Counting here after Squash. But a little weird, yeah. Give her a lot of screen time and so on. And then she immediately is gone, baby. But her backstory, I'm gonna say it immediately, right? I said a little bit reaction. It does bother me to some extent, right? I think it's an issue with how this whole anime has a structure with the bad guys. And that is that, okay, Lady Nagant, right, is like an assassin for the government, basically, right? So, you know, she was a good hero, love to see your innocent faces, all right, go to her. But now they're like, he's all white. But he's also kind of injured and old, so... I mean, support, come on. I want to say all about using support items. Yeah, he's like, move aside! See, I think... Power. He doesn't have any muscle anymore, but they're like, oh, it's All Might! Very One Piece of them. This feeling is hockey. It's Konku's hockey, man, it's coming here. I called it! It's Konku's hockey! They're like, no! So Lady Nagant thought innocent, you know, she's all happy, she wants to be a hero and so on, right? But instead they sent her in to become some kind of like, you know, assassin, and she was like killing some bad guys or whatever, right? She was still working, she was still doing good stuff, right? But she was like, you know, eliminating the bad guys, right? For society, so to speak. But the problem I have with that, it's like, why don't you just kill the main bad guy, you know, all for one and so on? Isn't this a little weird? Doesn't her whole plot line feels a little bit weird in this anime? And even Hawks too. That the government is... So in the government's backstory here, right? They're basically willing, again then, right? To eliminate bad guys, right? With, you know, an assassin lady. But they're not willing to eliminate the real bad guys. You know what I mean? I think there is an issue in this whole anime. How... I mean, I know it's anime and it's based, you know, on Spider-Man, older, you know, Marvel, it's a comic and Marvel. But it's a little bit like, oh yeah, we have capital punishment, but not for the real bad guys like Overhaul and etc. Yeah, not the bad guys that have superpowers and have destroyed half the planet. Those bad guys keep alive. These like minor bad guys, yeah, we just eliminate them. And like I said, it's the same as Spider-Man, you know. Spider-Man, the guys usually die Spider-Man, right? Or the lesser, you know, known bad guys, right? Norman Osborn, I guess, died like 50 times, but it's a little bit, you know, all the small bad guys, they die constantly, but the big guys, they are like they're fine, right? Next looks really bad. And they do have some slow pacing, right? But yeah, I haven't read the manga, right? So yeah, but that's the kind of, I mean, yeah, they kind of throw away the whole idea of greater good, right? The government's actually kind of corrupt, and Hawks, of course, talking to the Nagant. Hawk is like, I'm a weird, you know, my boy Hawk, right? And I got my Hawk, my Hawk towel, right? My boy Hawk saw me in there, right? And he's just like, no, I know the government is all right. I have to kill twice because, you know, for reasons, all right. So yeah, so they're spending that. But again, that's a good example, right? Hawks eliminates twice because like, he had to do it, right? But if you think about that, why didn't Hawks eliminate some of the other bad guys that are worse than Twice? Think about that. Poor Twice, he was like kind of like a redeemable bad guy, right? Twice was like this kind of like crazy bad guy that had a good side too. That's the guy who killed Hawks. I know why, of course, but I mean, Hawks could have eliminated a bunch of other bad guys that are way worse than Twice, right? There's a little bit of an issue where so the government does condone eliminating bad guys with this lovely lady, but they don't use her to eliminate the worst bad guys. They use her to eliminate kind of the F tier bad guys, right? It is a very weird premise. It really is. Like, it doesn't make much sense. It doesn't make much sense whatsoever, really. It doesn't, no. From a logical standpoint, the guy... They're all like, power up, Deku! You can defeat her! You go, Deku boy! Man, Deku the hero, I was gonna say everyone. I think we should kind of let the overall down. It should be like, overall's a bad guy, I'm not gonna save him. And he's like, what? Goddamn hero? I was doing good shit to someone? Hate them? good at douchey guy? Badass. No, but she did have... from that aspect, right? I like how they presented her, yeah. In her waifu way, right? Where Miruko was like this muscular waifu, right? With cool looks and bad action and so on. And, you know, Mountain Lady got her massive ass, so to speak, right? Midnight Sensei was very, like, I guess, promiscuity, I suppose. She was like, yeah, and all that stuff, right? This woman that had a kind of evil smile look, right? She had the smile, she had a kind of smug evil waifu, and so on. So I do like to tell how, yeah, like, Horikoshi is good at doing, like, different waifus, right? She was attractive, but she also had her own, like, oh, I'm a smug waifu, I'm a little bit like, peasant boy, yeah, she had a little bit of like the kind of odiosa about waifu and so on. So, I'm gonna miss her, man. Didn't really, like, yeah, care about her in that sense. Did he immediately eliminated her after her sad backstory and so on? That didn't make any sense. But otherwise, though, I do think after this in here, right, she shoots that overhaul. Yeah, she kind of does the thing and try to get overhaul. I really do wish, like I said on the race report, that Deku wouldn't have saved overhaul. And I know they would break the whole, like, you know, Deku is the hero and so on. But I'm putting out again, right? I like this dark, evil Deku thing. It's pretty cool. But at the same time, I'm a little bit questioning the whole storyline when Deku is going dark Deku, right? But it's acting exactly the same, right? Like, because if he's gonna be dark now, you know, and be more like a broody, more, let's call it a baronic hero or a pragmatic hero, shouldn't he just be like, okay, Overhaul's evil, I'm not gonna save him. but he didn't, I guess in this argument, he didn't know Overhaul's over there. Like, some guys over there. It's maybe, I don't know the guy. But you know what I mean? It's a little bit like Screams and Endeavour. Oh, get Overhaul over here. You'd be like, it would be interesting if Deku, you know, knew Overhaul and he didn't save him, right? And he was like, I'm gonna save this guy. That would be a much more dark Deku, right? If he was like, I'm not gonna save this super evil bad guy, right? It feels a lot like that. Something weird with that. But okay, so yeah, maybe more Nagant feel. I don't know. It does feel strange to introduce. It does feel strange to introduce a new villain lady and then immediately eliminate her. I feel like it feels like he spent a lot of time thinking about her, right? You know, from an artist standpoint, and then removing her. And it is also strange. I feel that she kind of has this storyline. I'm not saying it's the best storyline ever or most unique one, but she has the storyline, the trope of being the, you know, former hero now turned into an evil woman, right? And it's a unique storyline for her in this anime manga, right? There's no other woman that's like, I used to be a good girl and now I'm an evil girl. So also it's kind of wasted having that typical, like, because she should be an interesting character, right? Going from, you know, evil, good, good again, evil again, maybe, yeah, kind of sideways lady, right? And then eliminating her immediately. It feels strange introducing like a woman that has that, like, borderline, maybe I'm good, maybe I'm evil. Yeah, much more than the other waifus have been evil, right? She's much more on the border and then eliminating her. Maybe it's an editor thing. Maybe. Because it does feel strange. It does feel strange, like, straight up. Using her, removing her, after having this. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, because if she's gonna be like an evil waifu coming in here, it probably would make more sense not to give her all this backstory and so on. And she's gonna kill her off immediately. Maybe it's an editing. I don't know. I think it's a good episode, but it definitely leaves a little bit salt in your mouth. You're like, what happened to the evil waifu? And why was she evil and so on? That's true though. That is very true. I think you're very right there. Space Pirate Lord, I think you're very right. That they don't tend right to like bad guys. Yeah, that is very true. It's very true. In Japan, right, mostly they don't like to focus on the bad guy too much. Which is interesting because anime and manga are so known for having so much backstory on the bad guys, alright. But certainly they like to more focus on the good guys, give them more screen time and so on, right? Yeah, definitely. They think it has more and so on, which is a little weird. Absolutely, for shonen shows tend to try to kind of sway it over, which again sounds strange, right? Because I think that anime and manga, in a sense, have way more focus on the bad guys than, you know, Western comics, or even more Western movies. Western movies are like, here's the bad guy, he's evil or something. Yeah. Western movies is like, here's the bad guy, he's evil, right? Or like in like all the new Marvel movies, here's the bad guy, he's not evil, he's just confused or something. Yeah. And they have a terrible backstory. And it's a 1 minute backstory of the bad guy. You don't care about them whatsoever. But I don't know. Berserk is more like. But Berserk is more like this in the spectrum of who's evil, who's good, and so on. But I don't think Berserk is a good example actually, because Berserk is so much like, here is the bad guy, we're best friends, then we do this thing, and all the religious things, and it's that manga is much more like, you know, it's more about your inner fight and your soul and all this stuff, right? So I think it's more soul aiming or whatever you want to call it. So that's why it probably was the same thing. Because the bad guy in Berserk, Griffith, spoilers, I feel it's fine to say Berserk, it's like 30 years ago. Griffith in Berserk is just how say it? He's not a bad guy, like the bad guys here, that keep appearing and taking deck or whatever, and does crime. He's like a partner with Gutstrike that betrays him, and it's much more like this more, I say it, the dynamic interaction between them, right? Where in typical shonen, the bad guy kind of is not a side. He appears, does crime or does bad stuff, and you fight him, right? In Berserk it's much more like entwined together like this, right? At least for the first half of the storyline. So I think it's very different. You can't really present it. I mean, Griffith would be what's it called him again? What's it called him again? A demon? Nod. What is his name for in English? Nod, right? Sod. Whatever, the big demon guy. He's more typical shonen bad guy. He kind of appears every now and then, does bad stuff. But the thing is, but after we get the clips, right? Griffith, as I said, it's kind of a religious figure, right? It's more about that stuff. I don't think it really compares, because he's a bad guy, but the structure, the storyline is so different than like fighting the bad guy, right? Because Griffith's also like the good guy. He's also like the protagonist, right? Griffith's also like, you kind of see from he's the antagonist, right? You kind of see from his perspective a lot, right? And his guys and so on. Yeah, Sod, right? Yeah, Sod is like a typical shonen bad guy. He's like a demon. He appears every now and then. He's like, hey guys, I'm gonna fight you guys now. Sometimes he's like, let me help you guys. Yeah, Sod is a very typical like bad guy in manga and anime. He's like, he does stuff and sometimes he helps guys, you know, like that's very typical. But I don't know. This episode was good, but it is a weird taste in my mouth that they introduced this new hot waifu and then they eliminate her immediately. Again, even after giving her a long backstory, yeah. Here's like a 10-minute backstory of lovely Nagant. Oh, she's dead. But it did surprise me though. It did surprise me that she did die though. It did surprise me, right? Of course, because if she didn't have a backstory and then we saw her exploding, I'll be like, okay, maybe she would die, right? Now I was like, but she just gave her like a long backstory. Half the episode was her childhood or something. Oh, okay, she did. It feels weird, man. It feels weird. Oh yeah, the girl. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Turning into a Berserk stream now instead. The girl that can talk to all the demons and see their true faces. Yeah. They all like this weird little girl, right? I can't remember her name either now. But it's this weird little oracle girl that they can like. Her name is like Sophie or something. It's like some basic name. But doesn't she have like a weird? Isn't her name like Sophie? Sophia? We can't turn into that Berserk stream. I should do a Berserk stream one day. But yeah, there is this little girl in Berserk. They can like see everyone's real face. And I think her name is like Sophie or something. I want to say her name is like very basic. Sophia or like something like that. Helena or something. And she can talk to the demons and they all like her because they got this weird thing going on. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they're weird, man. But Berserk is all about trying to like humanize the bad guys to some extent too, right? So yeah, I think it is Sophie. I think I'm right. I have very good memory. I think it's Sophie, right? It's a very basic name. Okay, before we turn this off the stream, let's see what her name is. Berserk. Sophie. I think his name is Sophie. No, Sonia. Is her name Sonia? Sophie. Sonia is her name. Sonia. Okay, damn it. I was almost there. Sonia. It was something S at least. Come on, I was close. Sonia. Sonia, like that. Sonia. Yeah, I was close. It turned into the Berserk stream instead. Yeah. Sonia-chan. Okay, that's the way it will work. Give me a second. Man tror the stream sooner now, man. Just making it about Berserk instead. But, my PC. Let's see. I put it on screen. I'm just gonna fix this. It has prepared, of course. Just give me a second. Pick the other screen, guys. There we go. There we go. So she looks. Sonia. Yeah, this woman can like see the truth or whatever. She got some weird power, right? She can like, I don't know, she can oracle something. She can see everything that's real or something. And yeah, Demon kinda likes her, but she also like a complete sociopath. But Sonia also like knows everything that happens, and she also like lets Demon eat people and so on. She's a kind of very strange girl. That's like, oh, you eat humans? Cool, or something. Yeah, she's a massive weirdo. But yeah, it should be more villain focus in My Academia, man. It should be more focus on the bad guys. Absolutely. Think about poor lady Nagant, right? Think about poor lady Nagant. Just has her cute backstory, and she dies immediately. But I say it again, guys. Please chapter 2 on. But I say it again before I throw the stream here. I liked her storyline. I like she's a cool character. But I do think it's a questionable, a little bit plot holy how she's like, oh, she eliminated all the bad guys, but no one ever kills the main bad guy. And they have the main bad guy in prison, and Japan has capital punishment in real life. It never made any sense that they just don't, they don't do it with the bad guy, right? Because, Japan has that law today, right? So why would they not have that law in the future, right? It's a little weird. Like, Japan probably would have with the bad guy, I think immediately probably in real life, right? And then they have this girl doing that stuff, but not against the real bad guys, the main bad guys. It's a little bit like, wait, why? Like how is Overhaul alive? I don't know. Like how is all this alive, right? But she goes around and eliminates the tiny guys. Or take care of that, like I don't know, the guy does some kind of grocery. The guy stole her groceries. Go and shoot that guy. But no one is like, maybe you should shoot the super evil leader of the bad guys. No, he's alive. He's fine. But yeah, subscribe and have a great day.